AD carry, such as Chaos and such as Score. Also,
he was a KT roaster B80 carry who had like a 16 kill death to test average throughout the entire tournament.
Yeah, and then there's ones who will go in just to deal damage and will like just risk themselves for a kill, and that just looks like I'm a cutie pie basically at all times.
Exactly.
And then I forgot what the third one was because they seemed like all-encompassing. But there was
the third one was the tank AD carry. So like Score or someone like Chaos is usually or used to be the guy who builds glass cannon, sits in the back. But then you have the tanky AD carries who will build the Warmogs and just kind of be a mix of the first two. It's actually kind of
where they're safe from items. So we are into the game, of course, as you can see. And you mentioned it, there's been no invades early on, and that seems to be the same thing here. However, we do see that MrN is looking for a 2-on-1. MegaZero down to that bottom lane. We saw them do this last time. And once again, they've got Heartbeat and Atomic N up at the top lane here.
Looks like not too much going on as we've seen most of. One thing that these teams need to put a huge amount of importance on, though, Freak, is paying attention exactly to the early wards, because they do not want to give up those jungler double buffs, which were killer for both of these teams yesterday. So it has to be in the top of their mind to not get counter-ganked once the jungler has the doubles.
And right now we actually see that there are actually wards at the bottom side of mid for both teams, but Echo's covered actually by 2 wards already, so I can't see him getting ganked by Maokai too much.
Really knowing what TSM is going to be going for, right?
Yeah.
Because we know that the Odd One loves to gank mid, and he will just have to be overly patient if he's trying to execute anything mid. Otherwise, he's going to waste a lot of time trying to kill Echo.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, we talk about who's trying to get killed right here, and MegaZero already being zoned out fairly well by this Taric Tristana lane. Actually, the very first time we saw MegaZero in a 1v2, he got dropped down about 10% by... Oh my gosh, Mega taking so much damage at the bottom lane. Exhaust is on as well. Can he get out? He's got Ghost on. One more attack. Is it going to be enough? He flashes for it. Chaos going to rocket jump back out. 400 gold for him.
Oh my goodness, that was so well executed. We touched on it briefly in the pregame about the kill potential at level 2 for the Taric Tristana lane, and they went immediately for MegaZero on that. The tower tanking as he teleports back into lane by X Special, and then Chaos knowing he could flash into tower range because he would get the refresh on his rocket jump once he got a killer assist. So they didn't even need to do the 2v3 tower dive at the start. They might try to do it on the rebound, but I feel like they're a little low to be able to make this work.
Mega actually checked the tri-brush. Odd One already metagamed him, though. It's actually sitting around behind the brush. Mega does not know he's there right now. We'll see if that happens. Clicky D is nearby, and now he's on turret. Here comes the Odd One. He's got the stun. Here comes Twisted Advance. The rocket jump on there as well. Especially actually flashes out of range, and now MegaZero's taking all the damage. Odd One is there. Here comes Clicky D. Can he taunt him back into turret range? Not quite. And Reginald comes to show up and as well support this.
No way.
A 4-on-1 tower dive. Clicky D flashes away.
They're going to keep going.
Is gone. They are still going in, but KX has aggro. KX will go down. He picks up the kill back on a Clicky D, but it's 3-1.
That is by far worth it for Team Soul Mid because all 3 of those kills went to Chaos. This is not a surprise to anyone. This is pure execution by Team Solo Mid. They did outplay MrN even more strategically by sending Reginald down there to make it 4 members because they knew that MrN was going to know that the 3v2 was going down. So soon enough, we're just going to have 5-man fights down at the bottom lane in TSM games at 4 minutes. But that was just another example of them outplaying their opponents with their amazing coordination on the early game tower dives.
Absolutely. Now look at the top lane. Of course, we're seeing the fruits of MrN's labor at least. No gank for them, but at least they're getting the turret low. But yeah, and I was going to say, like, Darius has teleport as well, so we might see those 5-man dives eventually. I like want to dwell on that dive though, because like Special walked in to take 1 turret shot just to flash out to just like donate 100 health to a teammate to take 1 more turret shot.
These guys have done that dive so many times that they know exactly how to time the turret aggro and bounce between each other.
Yeah. So we're going to recap these lanes. Of course, we got Echo chilling up in the mid lane. Of course, has a minor minion kill lead over Reginald, because Reggie did, of course, roam out right there. We see again in the top lane that turret taking more damage, but oh no, they put a new ward down. I was going to say it had expired, but Odd One is spotted walking around the bottom here.
And we want to see how MegaZero is able to adapt from this because he was the carry for MrN in the qualifiers, and teams have really focused on shutting him down. Dignitas did a very good job of keeping his Renekton down. He's going to be in a 1v2 almost every game, and now that he's already died to a couple dives, they're completely just going to try to kill his turret here. They had the disadvantage of the top lane themselves where Darius is getting his turret low. They're going to try to counter it right here. And it's just the pressure they're putting on the bottom lane over and over. Darius actually going for a kill up top solo.
He's trying to find it. The exhaust goes on, though. Heartbeat's going to go for the counterattack. His attack speed's been shredded, though. No teleport or way to support that. Darius will be safe here. Clinky D, though, under the turret, taking a lot of punishment. Odd1 drops aggro. KX going to jump out of range. Will fall down, though. MegaZero gets one kill for his troubles. And, of course, with minions, TSM are able to walk right through that, but a 1-for-1.
Boy, they love doing that tower dive. They are going to continue to hammer that, and MrN is going to continue to try and answer. I wonder if KX is going to fall behind in levels because Tristana actually has a power dip in the mid game that sometimes can't be bypassed. Since he's taking so long to get his levels up, means his attack range might not be there in team fights. He does have to be cautious to not let that happen.
It'll be an interesting trade-off because, of course, he's super rich in gold. He's already got a BF sword for himself. So I am curious to see how that attack range compares to his item build so far. But we're just seeing Mega getting pressured on that turret, of course, still slightly keeping that one alive. The turret is exceptionally low. Flaky D is going to cover the lane while Mega's not going to recall. He was about to, but looks like they're going to two-man this turret for now. However, KX is coming back in.
And Odd1 is still keeping his presence up. He would only have the mana for one Twisted Advance and no other spells, but just the knowledge that they've been dove so many times in the past and the turret was a couple hits away, Team SoloMid is able to clear that one out, and it's going to be a straight-up trade in the top lane as both turrets fall at 7 minutes.
Actually, one thing that's interesting is Heartbeat has double the minion kills of KX. So you talk about him falling behind in levels, and of course he's been dead for a long time. He's actually suffering heavily in minion kills. It's still given him a 600 gold lead, but it's not as crazy as you would have expected from a 4-kill lead.
It's what KX has to be careful of, because the straight-up aggression and the fact that he fell twice to the turret and Olaf means that Heartbeat was able to free farm in the same way. 66-30, as you say, is a pretty large lead in minion kills. It's just a matter of the 4 kills. I think KX came out way ahead there, man.
Yeah, I'm absolutely right. We just saw the gold lead, of course, on the screen down there. You see the gold lead at the top of your screens as well. TSM up 700 gold right here. But this definitely looks different from MrN, both versus Dignitas, and MrN versus TSM back from MLG Anaheim. So certainly a closer game here. Reginald being given away this golden buff right here. He's going to be pretty happy about that one. Echo not grabbing his just yet. Of course, Shen had started red buff, so a bit of a timer still left on that.
And we haven't talked at all about the other lanes because there's been so much tower diving going on, but Reginald did start with that crystalline flask on Orianna, and he's getting out-farmed a little bit by Echo, so the normal mid-pressure that the Odd1 historically had put on mid lane for Reginald hasn't been there, and hopefully Echo is feeling better because he is doing a pretty good job. Pre-6 out-farming Orianna as a Nivea is quite an accomplishment.
And of course, as soon as he gets golden buff, have fun with Glacial Storm. But Odd1, though, he's actually sensed that the golden buff is responding soon. They've already pinked toward that brush. Solo mid, they're actually keeping a bunch of people down here. They are in position to steal away blue.
And this is a matter of them knowing they have the turret down as MegaZero actually tries to fly in with the Shen ult.
There we go, they get the dash on. Great jump by KX, keeps him safe, but Xpecial forced to flash away. Nice buster shot while Heartbeat chase. Q goes off, not quite going to kill Xpecial. Let's see what else they can do right here. Looks like it's going to be 0 for 0.
Able to repel that one. They know the dragon is up, and they're still going to try to get over control. MrN pink warding the pink ward to clear out that area there. Xpecial, knowing he has no flash, getting out of that area. Not really sure what TSM is going to do next, because after all of this amazing action, they are only up 700 gold free.
And yeah, it is just very, very interesting to see. I really like the counterattack sort of just available from MrN. Of course, they traded that turret. You know, getting actually, I guess, shutdown gold on KX is really important as well. We've talked about that. When guys are on killing sprees, they're worth more gold. And so a 0-2 MegaZero wasn't worth quite as much. And then getting a kill on like on a 1-1 or a 3-1, KX would really help them quite a bit.
And KX now not really able to do much against Heartbeat. He's a level down. He did rush a Phage, which actually isn't that strong of an item to rush anymore since we're in Season 3. I haven't seen many people do that whatsoever. When he gets the Trinity Force, he will be in an okay situation because it's now 3 gold.
Yeah, the 3 gold upgrade.
But for now, that's not the best situation for KX, despite what seemed like an amazing early lead.
So we'll see how that pans out, of course. Like, Ezreal goes back to base, buys up Boots of Speed, so he's got the movement speed advantage at least. Solo mid have actually put a pink ward down at the Dragon Brush, though. So they're feeling pretty good around the middle of the map, though. Like, they could, of course, challenge for that. Dyrus still has his teleport up, whereas MegaZero does not. So TSM could force a 5-on-4 against that turret.
There is that window where Clayky D doesn't have his Shen ultimate that they will be able to work around, and you can see the TSM is looking to keep up their aggressive pressure throughout this one. the farm advantage still coming, I'd have to say, almost to MrN. They're doing a really good job sticking in their lanes, which, you know, they've avoided the disaster, I want to say, that happened yesterday against Dignitas.
Yeah, I mean, keeping within 1,000 gold, really, I have to say, like, I don't want this commentary to be about how good MrN is for not quite losing, but actually, Claky gonna find a stun in the face right there. Here comes the three of them. Can he jump over the wall? He will. Lands the talent onto the odd one. Doesn't get much out of that, but they'd also counter-warded their golem again, so that's a ward back down there.
So Dyrus has his teleport up, but MegaZero doesn't, which is one of the reasons Team Solomid is trying to force onto this dragon. They harassed out the bottom lane. They know there's no turret, and they know they've denied the vision, so they might end up getting this one completely free. Yeah, they've got just a bunch of guys down there. No one is around to support that whatsoever. Nice pickup. It's going to stretch their gold lead up to about 2,000. And TSM, I mean, this looks like TSM, right? They're being pretty surgical with their gameplay so far. They are predictable, at least. I don't know if it's quite surgical, because the way they've been losing Chaos in those bottom tower dives, it did seem brute force and almost a little sloppy, so I still really want to see if it cost them. This Tristana mid-game dip is actually what we would experience right now. If Heartbeat did go aggressive onto them, it might be okay for MrN. Like, Tarek's mid-game is kind of holding on for Chaos' poor weak game because Tarek buffs up so much armor. It's a really interesting dynamic that's going on in that bot lane if they, you know, actually end up to fight and look at each other. And Chaos is sitting on about 2,000 gold right now, so he can get all three components of Infinity Edge and just wait on the combined cost. So he's definitely, if he wants, we can spike up his attack damage decently. And of course, depending on his points in, wow, he's got 0 points actually in rapid fire. So you're right, that mid-game dip, even if he has attack damage, like, he's got no attack speed to back that up. He's going all kill lane all the time with that rocket jump max. So it is going to be a while until he gets that rapid fire up. A lot of the Tristanas, actually, I remember when Aframu was playing him back when he was on, he's actually TSM Evo? Yeah, TSM Evo. He would max his Q pretty much by level 9 or so. He'd get the 2 points in W and 2 points in E, and then he'd max out his Q on Tristana. But that is a totally different path that Chaos is taking. So we'll see how that pans out, of course. Like, you know, again, you mentioned him that this late game carry, mid game dip. We'll see if KX and the rest of TSM can hold until they get there. Right now, we're seeing Claky D run around in the jungle. KX still on farm patrol at the bottom lane, keeping that 30 minion kill deficit pretty equal here. You know, we said he dipped down from 30 to 66. He's still at 80 to 110, so that's holding on pretty well for him. Top lane, we have Dyrus, actually 92 to 61. Hasn't really gotten much tower damage, but he's built the early Glacial Shroud, so a little bit of a revamp here. No health built on Dyrus early on in the game, which is something we have not seen from many of the top laners. Yeah, but interestingly enough, that's going to be, we'll see if it ends up being a good build for him. We just saw blue buff go away to Reginald once again. He's been pretty uncontested here. Both mid laners really not seeing a ton of action aside from that one turret dive at the beginning that Reginald participated in. The lanes are back to normal as well. Of course, we're seeing Chaos still just heads up against Heartbeat. We'll see how Chaos does in this bottom lane, and they're diving up top. No, they're just fighting up top. Here comes the gank. All right, Ricky's going to look for the taunt. Oh, nice flash there from Dyrus, going to get him out of that one. So he barely was able to escape that one, didn't have to burn his ultimate, still has his teleport. Trying to stop him from pushing up, that's MrN. All right, so unfortunately no quick gains for them. Reginald really pushing up the mid lane, but you're seeing the wave clear from Anivia really stop Reginald from getting much, but Reggie actually just getting the Wraiths right there for himself. He's actually right on top of Shen, though. We'll see if that ends up being something. Claky D actually going to disengage, so he's actually respecting Reginald quite a lot as well. Reginald still trying to keep the pressure up. He's now come back a little bit onto Echo. Echo had the edge on him earlier on in minion kills. It's mainly because he's completed his item in Athene's Unholy Grail, but Echo has not completed his item. He's probably going for the Rod of Ages on top of his Chalice of Harmony. It is a bit of a farm fest going on there, and if TSM wants to make something happen, it's going to be maybe another dragon, because all the kills really happened at the start of the game in that tower dive. Yeah, we'll see what ends up being really in the cards for them, of course. MrN holding on to their lanes. Actually talking to one of the players about MrN overall, they said that sort of MrN's weakness was their early game. They're laning more so than their team fighting, and we kind of saw that manifest here. Their early lanes had a bit of a rocky start, but I mean, every game that I've seen of MrN where it didn't look brutal early on, they'd always come out to win it. Now, that was during the qualifiers. We'll see if TSM is one of those numbers as well. During the qualifiers, they actually openly stated that they really wanted the team plays. MegaZero's just chaining down the axes onto Dyrus, finally misses one to disengage. But MrN was really just talking about their bruiser comp and how it actually took less team synergy to run, because it was just pick a target, and go. And everyone would just try to dive on top of that. Yesterday they struggled playing the Anivia composition because it was a more balanced approach almost through just having different things to pull off during the game. They're doing a bit better job this time. MegaZero has stated that the team in general works better when they get into the teamfight phase. He wants them to be able to escape laning phase, and they have escaped the laning phase for the most part here. So we'll see once the teamfights break out if they can perform.
So looking at the guys on the map right now, if a teamfight were to break out this second, looking at the items on the screen, the champion levels, who's stronger on the map right now?
It would depend a lot on how the Anivia wall works and if they're able to split up TSM as a team, but the combination from TSM right now might be enough. Dyrus could get onto Heartbeat if he lands his ultimate. They could combo it with Orianna, and then maybe they could come down with it. But if they're cut by the Anivia ultimate, I think there's enough health on ClayKD and MegaZero that they could get through to Chaox's Tristana before he gets a spin or a jump away.
Yeah.
But it's actually kind of too close to call right now, which might be why the teams are just farming it out.
It's an interesting thing to watch. Like, I always like fights where it's not based on gold or the champion. It's like, well, if you play it properly, you're going to be fine. Got a quick pause, of course, for you guys. We'll see what ends up being the case there. But, you know, we've seen just hyper-aggression from TSM, and then we've, like, everyone kind of walked back to their prescribed lanes, actually. Like, TSM re-swapped back up, the Dyrus went to the top, or MrN re-swapped back, and Mega went top, and it's just like, we actually have like a 15-minute laning phase. It's
been a really strange development in this game because we're 16 minutes, 46 seconds in right now, and the last kills were really on like the 3 or 4 minute mark, right? So they've really just went back to farming. MrN was like, hey guys, they're diving bot. And they're like, all right, let's put a bunch of people there. TSM's like, they put a bunch of people bot. Let's farm, right? And I think that's what's actually happened right now. These tech problems are probably also weighing on them a little bit. It does add to a bit of a disjointed game. You have a strategy flowing, it pauses, it comes back, and it could be something completely different. I think they might restock on what's been going on to the 16-minute mark and realize, like, hey, maybe we should start putting some pressure up somewhere. Or maybe it's just both teams think they have the edge late game.
Could be really, really interesting. Actually, apparently the Odd One apparently caught whatever Echo had or something. Odd One apparently says he's not. Sabotage. The BC Boys sang about this years ago. That's how old I am. And I never thought I'd have to say that. Now I'm talking about myself being old. But yeah, apparently Odd One not feeling great. That's too bad. I mean, if Echo's feeling better, that's nice. But come on, General, you can do this.
There's some sickness going around for these guys. You can see he's missing from his spot. So hopefully he's able to clear his system a little bit, feel a bit better. That is really unfortunate. Something is going around. Because all of these guys, I know we said it was Echo was sick yesterday, but ClayKD wasn't feeling well either. There's certainly a lot of members around here of the production crew that haven't been feeling well either. I got a bit of a sore throat going on, so I'm a little worried about this now.
Riv's been chugging cough lozenges as well.
Right. Odd One's back in his chair. Hopefully he's able to get back into the game. The Admiral, the General.
The Admiral's a zingy. This is the General Odd One.
Yeah, that's true.
It's okay. You got it, though. You said it. It's okay. Chat, we forgive you. We still love you, Jat.
All right, back in about 4 seconds. We're going to be into the game. Let's see if either one of these teams can actually take some initiative because TSM is clearing out pink with a pink ward at Dragon, which is going to be up any second now.
I'm actually a little bit disappointed in Nick Special. He's not running pink Taric. I mean, yes, Valentine's Day is over now, but there is really only one true Taric skin, and that is the fabulous pink Taric skin.
I agree.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, and I'm sure we will have legions of fans agree with us here. Back to the top lane, we're seeing just laning. Atomic N with a lot of pink wards. They're really, like, in Season 3, I've seen a lot of pink ward battles, like way more than I saw in Season 2.
And the big reason for that is because the Oracle's Elixir is only the 4-minute duration, so people don't want to put in the overall investment if they're not roaming the entire map. So the pink wards is really what controls the Dragon fights nowadays. Everyone roaming up around here. Both top laners do have their teleports up. This could be the fight we see. MrN teleporting to engage.
All right, that's going to be, I guess you're right there, but they're going to see that Dyrus is right on top of them as well, and they're going to immediately pop up. Heartbeat is going to cleanse backwards, trying to get behind a wall. The team has grouped up there as well. Rage is going to get the pull, lands it onto Atomic N. Shadow goes on top to keep him alive. ClayKD is going to fall, though, from that. They've found Chaos. Can they get the burst? He cleanses the slow, gets over the wall. He's going to be safe. Actually baits the team pretty well. Reggie picks up MegaZero. That's a 2 for nothing. They're going to get the root onto Atomic N. There's no turret there to keep him alive. Puts the slow down. That's going to be 3 for nothing right here. And Reggie's in behind. He finds Heartbeat. 1v1 against Echo. Doesn't quite land the Q. Puts the stun back onto him, but Echo now the only one alive. Reggie almost finds the damage, and Odd One is still chasing. Gets hasted by the dissonance. There's a sapling. It will not chase him down. Echo the only living member from MrN.
So you could tell MrN during that pause really just knew they wanted to go in for the fight. Afterwards, they forced a little bit too hard going into that dragon fight, and Chaos schooled them over top of that ledge. Yeah. Rocket jumping over for the majority of the fight. As soon as MrN came around to finish him off, he flashed over back to the other end, and that just allowed everyone else on TSM the time to wear down MrN, and Chaos executed at the end of it.
That was an absolutely great play, and I mean, TSM had put that vision board down just a minute ago as well. That's what allowed Dyrus to teleport in, and they just forced the engage, like you talked about it. If they can pop up Heartbeat and Reggie can follow up, that forced his flash. The Shockwave forced him to flash away, so really, really good. The Dragon, of course, you just saw that go to TSM. 8-2, the kill lead really theirs. 5,000 gold. This is a very good-looking TSM right now.
And the Frozen Heart got completed onto Dyrus as well, so the aura is coming out in that way. He's really just looking to shut down attack speed even more so. Already getting it with the E on Malphite. Something we haven't seen as much of in Season 3. Frozen Heart was a huge item in Season 2. Glacial Shroud became a little less accessible. All those other things coming in on top of it, and it's good for him right now because that last teamfight victory worked quite well.
Yeah, so of course we're seeing MrN look for some gold to get back for themselves. We called them the king of comebacks. They tended to do very well at that, but Heartbeat looking for some farm at the bottom, and TSM, they're grouped up a little bit more toward the top. Chaos is I guess he's just looking for a turret right here almost.
And the problem for MrN is going to be that TSM is really good at reacting to other teams' aggression. Kind of like Dignitas said they were having trouble closing games, so they just wanted to push all the lanes and just wait until they win.
Yeah.
TSM does have an opportunity to do that right here because the last fight was MrN really trying to force onto TSM, and TSM came out on top.
Yeah.
TSM was already winning the lane battle, so if they just continue to win the lane battle, they will force MrN into another one of those situations, and they think they can come out on top of that.
Well, we're seeing that, of course. Chaos and Special shoving up this top lane. MegaZero's on top of them. He's got support coming in. We'll see what happens with this fight. Special pulls aggro. Chaos going to jump away. Mega's going to pop ult. He lands another Q. He's going to keep this train going. Who's going to come up in time? Heartbeat's nearby. Not going to land a shot, though. No slow for him.
And during all this, Dyrus is split pushing the bottom lane. MegaZero didn't have backup in time. They were trying to get him off the turret, but it just didn't work. So TSM actually putting pressure in mid and in bot.
And you're just seeing that, right? Clicky D shows up, tries to push Dyrus away. All he can really do is hit some minions right here. Reginald, of course, still chilling in that top lane, or mid lane.
And the top lane push is actually getting flanked by the odd one. They didn't see him with any wards, but it looks like they're smartly going away. I wonder if he's going to go in for this.
He finds the time again, is going to knock him into the air, puts the ult down as well. Immediate disengage, actually. MrN, apparently the turret is enough for them.
They might just try to finish this one off. Heartbeat popping his ultimate, but it looks like the brute force from TSM continues third turret of the game.
All right, really, really good play by them. They only lost the one turret on the lane swap so far. Those 2 kills only on their turret dives. Aside from those, I wouldn't even call them mistakes necessarily. TSM has not given up anything on this map.
And it's just a matter of split pushing and running away. I mean, MegaZero's tried to chase down Dyrus a few times with those axes. Hasn't really worked out. Dyrus getting too much move speed from his Q, able to run away. It's just the 2 kills for MrN. They haven't been able to find team fights. I don't know what they're going to do to come around in this one, Freak.
Well, we'll see if they can find something there, maybe a catcher. We'll see what it ends up being. The farm, of course, is still happening. I mean, TSM is doing a very good job of controlling the map. They haven't really shut anyone down from MrN at the very least. I mean, we saw games where, like, Fat had a rough game on Rumble for GGU and wasn't really a big factor, but it seems like everyone on MrN's at least having an okay game.
They're at least keeping MegaZero down a fair bit. I mean, he has caught up a bit in 123 minion kills, but from the very start of this, when we saw the 3 tower dives on MegaZero's turret within the first 5 minutes of the game, that seemed to be their target. They did kind of pull that one off. Claky D hasn't been able to steal much farm on Shen to become a split-pushing monster. A lot of things are going really according to plan for TSM. Chaos is going to be coming out of that mid-game Tristana lull pretty soon. Now that he has the Infinity Edge and the Zeal. Let's see actually if he has points. He's got 3 points in Rapid Fire, so once he maxes that out, he's got the 90% attack speed steroid coming out as well. This is looking really, really promising for TSM.
And he's up to 649 attack range as well, so he's tied with Caitlyn, and he's only going to get better from there. We'll see how that plays up for him. Like you said, he's getting out of that mid-game lull, so see if TSM looks for something with Chaos. There's, of course, still staying at that top lane, and Reginald staying in mid. Odd one looks for MegaZero. He's not really going to find him for much, though, under that turret.
And the ore items as well are coming in for TSM as they're just slowly moving around and slowly pushing the turrets. The Frozen Heart's been completed for a while, but they also have the Locket of the Iron Solari on the odd one. There's nothing coming out on Marn that gives him those types of teamfight advantages. You'd always got to factor in as well just the armor aura that Taric is putting out, or the attack speed slow that Dyrus's Malphite can put out, not even counting about the Frozen Heart. So even though it's just a 6,000 gold advantage, it's a lot more when you factor in the auras.
Wow, and the ult going off on Echo, putting him pretty low right here. Reggie looking for a little bit of poke. And I want to point out that bottom turret, without a dedicated siege, just the Dyrus split push, it's down to about a quarter right here. So again, you talked about it. TSM, they're not looking for a crazy fight, but they are just winning slowly but surely here.
And it's complete control for them in a lot of ways. The first tower dive seemed a little chaotic, but once they got those, they've stuck to the same strategy, and Marn's been unable to break them out of it. Yesterday, I mean, Curse said, as we've gotten better and better as a team, they've become better at coming back in games. But something that every team has to learn is how to come back in games, because clearly forcing those huge team fights down at Dragon wasn't the way for Marn. They needed to opportunistically wait for the other team to make a mistake. TSM wasn't giving them windows, but Marn has forced it anyway.
And you just saw kind of what happened there. Now they're going to look for, almost look for another window against Dyrus. They put some damage on him, and look, he like walks into two people, ground slams, and says, yeah, you're not going to kill me. Walks right back out. He's actually sitting there, like he's actually like trying to pull cooldowns basically. He's standing on top of an axe, standing in front of Mega. I would expect him to spam laugh at this point, knowing Dyrus.
Well, his build is actually pretty smart. He did this yesterday as well, where he would build 2 Giant Spells before upgrading into a Warmogs. He's already got the resistances from his Frozen Heart. When he activates his W, he gets 30% more armor, so he's a ridiculously tanky Malphite. And he's got, the 2,860 health. There's not much Marn can do to him as they take the Dragon. Just want to keep talking about Malphite, because even his passive is working out based off of his max health. Every time he's not hit for a little while, it will take just about 700 effective physical damage just to break through his shield that he gets from that passive. So what is Marn going to do, Freak? We keep going back to it, but they're not making any plays.
The last time they made a play, it didn't work. So I don't know, like, if you're in this game, what goes through your head? Because you're like, well, we tried to start a fight and that didn't work. If we sit here in lanes, we're getting a little bit outlaned here. What goes through your head here?
The one thing that they can't catch themselves doing, which is kind of what they're doing now, is like, it's a tricky balance, right? Because I was criticizing a little bit when they overforced during the Dragon fight. But right now it almost looks like they're under-forcing, in a sense. They're sitting back too far. I really hope that they're not worried about dying and looking bad to come back in the game, because clearly if this trend persists, where TSM is just pushing them all out, they have to go for something. I mean, this is kind of why Gambit Gaming, when they lose, look to lose, like it looks like they lose hard, because they don't accept these situations.
Yeah.
When you lose the kind of first 3 outer turrets, you will get starved out if the other team lets you do it. This is the point where you have to take the chance to overforce. It's probably not going to work out for you, but you have to try, because otherwise TSM will strangle you out and you will lose the game.
Well, I want to look at map vision for those kind of situations. I know, in general, we've talked about wards being a really important thing for strangling a game out or turning one wide open. And you're seeing, basically, TSM's got a number of aggressive wards, and Marn's just kind of warding their own jungle, so they're not seeing TSM heck of a lot on the map.
Actually, Lulu had to flash over a wall when they were trying to force around the Baron buff right there. And it's a matter of them getting split pushed by Dyrus, and at this point they may be too far behind to force anything. They have been getting strangled out. TSM's at the point where they're trying to look around Baron, and Dyrus getting caught up by 2 people, but he's got his flash and his ultimate. If he wants to get away, I think he does.
Well, they're gonna try to put some damage out anyway. The Qs are landing. There's the first one missing from Mega Zero, and meanwhile he's pulled so much attention that TSM are going for Baron right here. They're putting a lot of hurt onto it, down to 8,000 health. Marn is moving over. They might be there in time.
Marn has no vision, and they had to flash away the last time they checked. They know the Orion ult is there. Dyrus is teleporting in, but everyone from Marn could arrive there if they wanted to. They're cutting themselves off with their own Anivia wall, and TSM's going to get this.
TSM gets it completely for free. They were just so afraid of that Dyrus teleport, it seemed. Mega Zero is just going to chill at this right-hand side lane and keep the farm going.
There's a really good chance that Dyrus teleport scared them away and thought that TSM was forcing a really hard initiation. That's why the Anivia wall would have went down. That ended up cutting themselves off, and at that moment Heartbeat was like, well, maybe they're doing Baron. Fires the ultimate in, and it was just too late. They got lulled to death by TSM.
Alright, well, with Baron buff in tow, we'll see if TSM starts turning on the pressure. Dyrus sits there, takes some damage from Echo, and just stays in that lane, refusing to really go anywhere. Dyrus is just having a pretty tanky good game right here, 1-0 and 2.
And quietly as well, Reginald has become a monster. He just bought double Elixir. He's got 516 ability power with that Baron buff. He's sitting at now 28% cooldown reduction without a blue buff, so TSM's looking to force it right now. It's 28 minutes of farming after their initial tower dives. They won the good team fight at Dragon, and now they're looking to just power through. When a team Elixir's up like this, it means they're trying to force.
And they got the Baron buff as well, of course. Dyrus in the front. The shield's blocking almost all the counterattack damage. The turret down below a quarter. Mega getting chunked actually pretty hard by Reginald, and there is their 5th turret kill of the game.
They're going to continue probably to push this one up. You can see Claky D is trying to force some pressure. Split pushing is going to get 1 turret, but TSM with the Baron regen is shrugging off any tower harass they took previously, and they're going to force Mega Zero to come back to base by potentially diving this turret.
All right, they're going to group up. They've got the shield on top of Dyrus. We'll see if he looks for anything. The ult comes off from Ezreal. They're pushing down onto this turret. A bit of damage right here. Maokai ult still there, keeping them from doing anything. Marn, they're going to back right off his inhibitor. Looks to be TSM's, but Marn are staying around, actually. If they pull in with the Shen ult, they could always look for a fight. Inhibitor, that's going to be TSM's as well, and they're going to disengage completely cleanly.
So they're trading an inhibitor for a bottom turret. That is not a good exchange. Yes, they probably would have lost the fight on the inhibitor, but if you're just giving up your mid inhibitor as an Anivia team who just thrives off of turtling, you may just be giving up the game. So they really have to force or at least fight at the next inhibitor push because they've already given up 1. If they give up a second, they're basically just saying they've lost.
Well, Clicky D has taken these 2 turrets on his split push. A little burst of gold there. TSM still looking to play aggressively. Nice ult's going to catch up on an Echo. Can they get the damage there? The Shen ult comes through. Special in front. Mega Zero in front. Great. Lulu ult catches 3. Where's the damage going to go to? Mega dropped dangerously low. He's going to get out of that one. Special and Dyrus low. Clicky D falls down. They do trade 1 for 1. Where are the rest of the kills going to go? Chaos still waiting for the turret. Looks like they got out cleanly.
They got about 90 seconds left on this Baron buff, and they're okay losing X Special. He was a huge amount of their auras, but they might look to keep taking this one down since it is a jungler for support. Dyrus going in.
Right, they put the giant shields onto him. He takes a little bit of damage. Great wall right there. Is going to catch up the odd one. He has to flash as well. The damage from Chaos is nice, but they do force them back, so Marn have held on for now.
That was a bit of a display of why Anivia is so good at turtling turrets. As soon as they went into melee the turret, they popped the wall, trapping them in there, and you can freely damage them because the backline wouldn't be able to get through the wall either to support the damage. But they lost so much in those exchanges. It's now only 31 minutes in. The gold lead exploded to 10,000. That was a big, big win for TSM in those exchanges.
Yeah, they're up 10,000 gold right now, 9-3, 31 minutes in. Now again, guys, if you're just joining us on the LCS stream, we're in game 3 of the day. We've got 1 more after this one. We've seen TSM currently sitting at 4-2 right now. They played early today, or 3-2?
I believe TSM is...
They were 3-2 at the start of the day. Yeah. They have not played today yet. Yeah, they're 3-2, looking to be 4-2. Marn 0-1, looking for their first win of the season so far, but 28-game season, I guess they could wait if they need to. And we're seeing TSM put on extremely, extremely strong early game pressure, and now they're really turning this one into a mid-late game sort of stranglethon.
X Special has the Runic Bulwark on Taric, so he's actually providing, if you count into his Shatter, a 40 armor and 30 magic resist aura to the entire team. Dyrus has the Frozen Heart slowing the enemy attack speed. They got the Lock of the Iron Solari shield that Odd One is so good at using at just the right moment. So on top of all those auras, you look across at Marn, and they don't have the auras to fight against it. They are hopelessly behind at this point. Chaos is out of the Dark Ages with that Tristana right now. Triple big items. Infinity Edge, Phantom Dancer, Last Whisper. Close to 703 range now on Trist. He's sitting at... I wish I could read it, 685 at this point. Really just nuking Marn down from range. And the Baron buff is off of them at this point, but they're going to look to continue to pressure.
Looks like Reggie re-upped his elixirs, and they're still on the pressure. Look at the damage there on an Echo. Grabs the Lulu shield, but still not in the best place. So the push at top didn't work. Of course, Mega Zero holding off a one-on-one against Dyrus up there. But down to the bottom, TSM, they're definitely looking pretty great. You can see Dyrus right there, just shrugging off damage. 2 turret shots, does not care. Here comes the defense once again.
Anivia ult being held there. Echo did pick up a blue buff. He will be able to pretty much just keep that held down until the next wave gets here. I wonder if TSM is bold enough to dive through this turret. So the wall does come off, and Chaos is just happy shooting it.
Wow, look at the damage up with there. 3 shots to go to the turret falls. That's going to be a turret. Omni gets caught by the stun, does not have flash. Where's the damage going to come from? Looks like they do summon to Mega Zero. There's the initiative from the Odd One, finds Echo, knocks him into the air. Shen, oh, great Shockwave's going to find Echo, knocked into the air. That egg is going to be boiled right there, and he jumps right in. KX is just looking for a kill. Will he grab Mega? Yes, he will. Flaky D the next one. There's the bunny hop's going to find another one. Exhausted to KX, and he is happily walking forward. Another kill there onto Atomic N. 13-3. TSM are looking for the Nexus.
Wow, they just rolled through them in that team fight. It was the game of attrition, and TSM finally cracked the egg at the end of it. Here comes the Nexus turrets.
There we go. TSM putting themselves at 4-2 so far. Great job by them. MrN 0-2. We'll see if they can